Appreciate you being there.
Make it interesting.
Good deal.
Better.
Okay, it is 5 o'clock on March 14th, 2017. And at this point, I'd like to call the Energy Awareness Commission meeting to order. First item on the agenda is to review and check over our February 14th minutes. Hopefully everyone has gotten a chance to read through them. It was quite a meeting. Are there any questions, corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the February 14th meeting.
I'll second it.
Motion been made and second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, minutes been approved. Next item on the agenda is to look over our conservation improvement expense summary, both for the month and actually the final year. William, you have any comments?
All right. Well, for our current month, I guess fit in the high efficiency lighting project to start us out again, and bit in furnace cleanings and furnace rebates for installs. So those are probably our some of the highlights. Yes, do have some of the school education program expenses in there, and this was one of our purchase years for supplies. Usually it's about every 2-year cycle, so you see some of the expenses associated there. And I guess that would conclude my summary for the first month. I don't know if we should take questions there or just go into the 2016 year summary.
Well, it's nice that we've had actually action on the furnace cleaning and furnace rebate, and high efficiency lighting is still coming good. So that was for the month. And then actually page 7 was the year-end account summary. Is this correct, William?
Yeah, that would be correct. So the next page that's included, and I'll just double check our page numbers here on the packet. Yep, so that's correct. Page 7 would be our tally for the 2016 year. And there were a few things that came through since the December generation of this report. So I guess you'll see we actually did high efficiency lighting rebate hit about 90,000 there total, and I think we had discussed that at the previous meeting. And then I guess some other high spending categories. I guess the furnace rebate was well used. And I think that was within kind of the range of my projections. I may have been a little bit low on there, but about an expected amount within what we've seen in past years. Industrial rebates were low for the year. I'm hoping that will come up for the 2017 year. And then I guess Energy Star rebates seemed to be quite low, and I don't necessarily have a theory on why that would be. And then I guess the last point that I would summarize would be the low-income programs. We were a bit low for total spending there. However, I think we did have a few programs or a few projects that were not complete by the end of the year but were filed with us. And we'll be covering those in the next item. So any questions for the 2016 year report outside of the low income budget carryover item? All right, if there's no questions for the 2016 year summary, move on. The next page of the packet is actually one of the Public Utilities Commission agenda items. And this is just a general budget carryover for the various departments. At the very bottom under Fund 760, Administrative Fund, or Administration Fund, very bottom item would be request for carryover for several rebates for the low-income program, 2016 year, but weren't able to be completed until the 2017 year. So that amounted to about $4,000. If you combine that with some of the other spending that we did have, I think we're pretty close to maxing out that fund for the low-income programs. We'll have to see how the year goes for 2017, but I think they can probably max both the carryover funding and their current funding that's been assigned.
So you're saying that 4,000 has already been spoken for in the 2016, and it's carried over, or?
So it would be carried over, and essentially, let's see what I have budgeted here for that first year. So we'd have about 16,000, 500.
So they haven't spoken for that. They don't have projects for that 4,000 yet.
No,
It's just,
the projects are currently in the works.
okay, so they're in the works.
Yep.
They've spoken for it, and they kind of set that up in 2016, but they won't happen until 2017?
Yep, that's
Okay.
correct. So with that budget carryover, essentially what will happen is we would have about 16,000 or so of funding for the 2017 year. So they should be able to complete those projects as well as having enough funding to complete kind of an entire year's worth in 2017. And are there any other commission questions about the income reports?
As I'm looking at it, bottom line, I see that we've got roughly about $20,000 that did not get spent from our budget of last year. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
Okay.
And I guess I would look at that more as about 16,000 with the
Because
budget
of the
carryover.
4,000 on the low-income program.
Yep.
Very good. Well, we did pretty good then. Any other questions on the expense report? On either the monthly or the year-end financial? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion.
Motion been made
I'll second.
and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving,
Do we have to do that separately for that final one for last year?
we can handle that
Separate one for
next.
this? Okay.
So we will approve the expense summaries as we've got them reported right
Yep.
now.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the next thing would be to request the Public Utilities Commission to carry over these funds into next year's budget. Is that correct, William?
Oh, actually, in
We
this
already
case,
did.
that was actually approved at a
Okay.
previous meeting.
Oh,
so
it
that's,
was. Very
that's been
good. Oh,
completed.
yeah, I see, February 28th.
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
Next thing, why don't we, William, just give a brief review on the fourth grade poster contest.
All right.
I believe William and Eileen made a presentation to all of the fourth graders in the 3 school systems in New Ulm. And he'll probably go over that.
Yeah, that's correct. And before we go into the fourth grade contest, just kind of combined a few slides into one PowerPoint here. So we'll first touch on some of our updated slides for, potential updated slides for the home show. So I think we'll reuse to the far left. This is one we've used in the past, kind of explains who the Energy Awareness Commission is, what we do. Then the middle two would be new, talking about solar. And I guess as a residential customer, some of the basic steps that you may want to accomplish if you're considering, installing a solar project on your home or property. And then the right side one in the middle would be some of the steps that the New Ulm Public Utilities would expect a customer to complete. And then on the very far right side, we've used that in previous years, talks about some of the highlights, a few of the rebate programs, and it's kind of impossible to put all of the programs on the board, so they can certainly ask, and we'll have all of the rebates available for both discussion and to fill out potentially at the home show. And are there, I guess, while we're on these slides, are there any questions or comments about layout for the 2 new panels?
I like them.
Yeah. And we can certainly come back to that at a later time if you think of anything. So we've done a little bit of advertising for the home show, just to let people know that we're going to be there. So that'll go out in the shopper and the journal. We'll post those to our Facebook site and as well as the website. And then with that, we'll get into some background on the 4th grade poster contest. So it's done at all 3 schools for the 4th graders. And we cover energy conservation topics, and then what the New Ulm Public Utilities does here in the city of New Ulm. And you can see this would be the front and back of the handout that's given to the participants. So the front just kind of talks about the rules for the contest, and then the back has a summary of the slides, I guess of the posters that we use in the presentation. And then they also receive a Let's Save Energy handbook to kind of help give them a few ideas. And then along with the kind of background presentation, we do a few tests. We test several LED light bulbs compared to one incandescent light bulb. And we've just recently updated those to LEDs. Previously, we used CFL light bulbs. And then test out an electric heater. I think the kids are always very surprised to see what that electric heater can draw in a short amount of time. And then I guess one thing we have found is it seems like each year that we do the presentation, the kids become kind of more aware of energy topics. We get better responses, and in some cases we get a few responses you might not have even thought of beforehand. And here's just kind of a summary of a few of the posters that we go through during the presentation. And the final slide, we'll be hopefully selecting some of our top contestants, the winners for this year. But we pre-sort the posters down to a group of 6 from St. Paul and St. Anthony School, and the top 12 from Washington School. And then select those down to the top 3 winners from St. Paul's and St. Anthony's, and the top 6 from Washington. And then those kind of grand prize winners receive $20 in chamber dollars. And the rest of the participants win a Don't Be an Energy Hog piggy bank. So that concludes the kind of home show and 4th grade poster contest summary. Are there any questions about the material or 4th grade contest?
Okay, and at the conclusion of our meeting, stick around. We have to choose the winners. But continuing on with the home show, William attached some materials that he intends to use. The main thing that I think we should look at is the survey questions and see if we have all agreement in how they're worded, and any questions or comments? Or do we need to make any changes on those?
Well, who is the or other on these, should know on public utilities or other pursue a
Yeah,
community
private
solar
entity.
garden?
Private
Yeah,
entity.
You got anybody?
Excel Energy
Something
or
like that?
somebody like that.
Okay,
Because they are reaching out, as I understand, to various communities and offering to set up systems for that. I
Okay.
believe some of the, even some other municipal utilities are. So, it's like, yeah,
And I may have a comment to that as well. I think for the home show, and I think in our previous survey, we have found that there's quite a few attendants who are not necessarily New Ulm Public Utilities customers. And in my mind, that or other could potentially mean their own utility provider.
yeah.
If that's a rural co-op or Excel Energy, any of those.
Brown County Electric, or somebody like that could come in and install a vehicle charging station. If there's enough interest.
Yeah.
So there may be, that kind of allows for some of the, attendees who are not necessarily New Ulm customers to still participate in this survey, and we'll just get a general public background about their responses.
These are the ones we talked about last month,
Yes.
and how we just revamped them and
Simplified them,
Yeah.
make them a yes or no, and hopefully
Yeah.
they'll be
which was good. to
quicker and
do.
easier
Yeah.
for people to fill out
Yeah,
and complete.
absolutely.
I think you did a very nice job, William. So we will have those ready to hand out at the show. William also went over some of the other materials that he was going to have at the show, as far as giveaways and that type of stuff as well. Hopefully you guys have all had a chance to review the show hours and dates and are ready to sign up and complete some shifts. Anything else with the home show? Anybody would have any questions about? Okay, otherwise we will be ready to go. Are there any other issues that the commissioners wish to discuss at this time? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll offer that motion.
I'll second it.
Been made, seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're done. Next
Wow.
meeting is April 11th.
It's a quick one.
Yeah.
Well, we're not done yet.